This is our joint meeting of the City Council, successor agency to the Redevelopment Agency, the Public Finance Authority, Public Utility Authority, Housing Authority, Parish Joint Powers Authority, and Parish Community Economic Development Corporation of the City of Paris. This Tuesday, May 9th, 2023. The call time is 6:36 p.m. Madam Clerk, can we have a roll call, please?
Sure. Councilmember Rabb?
Here.
Councilmember Rogers?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Nava?
Present.
Councilmember Corona?
Present.
Mayor Vargas?
Present, thank you. Item 3 is our invocation, which will be led by Pastor Jerry Brown from the U-Turn for Christ. And then if he could remain standing for item 4, which will be our Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Councilman Rabb.
Dear Lord, thank you for this opportunity. We know that you have appointed all those in authority, and so we stand before the council and those here in authority and ask that you would just pour out your wisdom on them. Thank you, God, that we can ask, and you say that you'll lavishly pour it out upon us when we ask. And so would you just give wisdom to the council tonight, to all those that will be presenting, and Lord, may you have your will be done. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Please join me as we salute our nation's flag. Place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor. Item 5 is report on closed session items. Mr. Koo.
Thank you, Mayor. The City Council met in closed session on the items, closed session items listed on the agenda, but no reportable action was taken.
Thank you. Item 6 is our presentations and announcements. 6A is presentation commemorating Public Works Week, and this will be introduced by our Director of Public Works, Mr. Brian Hill.
You see, no tie. All right, good evening, Honorable Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and council members. First, I'd like to thank you for all your support of Public Works throughout the year. Secondly, I would like to thank our Public Works team for their commitment and dedication to ensuring that Paris is a great place to work, live, and play. One of the best weeks of the year is Public Works Week, which is May 21st through 27th. Each year, the American Public Works Association, APWA, comes up with a theme, and this year's theme is Connecting the World Through Public Works. Whether it's through infrastructure and maintenance, services to assisting our first responders, APWA and its 30,000 members in the U.S. and Canada use this week to energize and educate the public on the importance of public works to their daily lives through building, managing, and operating at the heart of their local communities. I'd also like to share a few of the programs that we've implemented this past year. One is replacing the street name signs throughout the city. They've lost a lot of their reflectivity and they're faded over time. So we started in the Enchanted Hills Park area prior to the grand opening of Enchanted Hills Park. Then we moved our efforts to the southern part of the city, and we are moving north, and currently we are in the numbered streets of the city. We've implemented a flood channel cleaning program where we clean all city-owned concrete and earthen channels every quarter. We also started repainting all the subdivision entrance, and we're roughly about 75% complete of those subdivisions. Also, we implemented a striping program to restripe all the schools every 18 months. Also, for the upcoming year and continue moving forward, Public Works and Engineering have developed a plan for a pavement rehabilitation program and are committed to improving our streets throughout the city. The plan is for the Public Works team to maintain the residential streets, and engineering will work on the city's arterial and collectors. Next, I'd like to highlight a few of our Public Works team members. One of the Public Works leading organization is the Maintenance Superintendents Association, which is MSA. And Lisette Hernandez, our Public Works Manager, she is a board member of this region's chapter, which includes cities throughout Riverside and San Bernardino County. Another is Ignacio Alvarez, our Public Works Supervisor. So he teaches auto mechanics for Pomona School District. Since auto mechanics have been kind of removed from our high schools, Pomona School District worked with the surrounding schools to implement auto mechanics, and Ignacio goes up 2 to 3 times a week to teach these students to learn a trade. So he's dedicated his time and efforts 2 to 3 nights a week. Finally, I'd like to share a short video of our Public Works team in action performing the different tasks we do throughout the year. I'd like to thank our IT department for taking their efforts and planning and preparing this video. Also, keep an eye out during Public Works Week. We'll have the full videos throughout that week of May 21st through 27th. So please enjoy the video.
Connecting the world through public works.
Thank you for that great presentation. Anybody have any questions, Council? Well, I do. So is that considered a cold patch?
Correct.
How effective is that?
As long as it stays dry.
And D Street Court, I just want to make, I don't know if I've ever said it before, but I get a lot of compliments about the D Street corridor, how our guys are always out there maintaining that area. So I appreciate that help. And then, of course, everything else that all our guys are doing throughout the whole city. Do we have any women on our public works that are on the field? Okay, just want to make sure I'm not addressing appropriately. Okay, well, thank you very much. 6B, presentation commemorating Building and Safety Week. This will be introduced by Director of Development Services, Kenneth Fung.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. This item will be presented by R.V. Dagatan, who represents our building division in recognition of the Building Month this year.
No stress, RV.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, City Council, staff, and to the members of our community. On behalf of the Building and Safety Division, it is my pleasure to present to you this year's Building and Safety Month, held annually in the month of May. So the Building and Safety Month is a global campaign of awareness hosted by the International Code Council, or ICC. ICC is the leading source of building safety standards, adopted internationally as well as locally here in the city of Paris. The campaign impacts about 2 billion people worldwide. It reaches families and individuals on a personal level by setting structural standards that impact both environmental and living conditions. So it starts with you. The theme for Building and Safety Month 2023 encourages us to raise awareness about building and safety on all levels, focusing on the following themes. For week 1, we have Building Safety Starts at Home. Week 2, it's Building Safety Professionals and You. Week 3, we have Preparing Your Community. Week 4, we have Advocating for Your Community. And week 5 is Solving Challenges Together. In observance of the campaign, people all over the world are asked to consider the commitment to improve building safety, resilience, and economic investment at home and in the community, and to acknowledge the essential services provided to us by local and state building departments, fire prevention bureaus, and federal agencies in protecting lives and property. And what I have the pleasure of bringing to your attention today is week 3, or Preparing Your Community. According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, that's CDC, 48% of Americans lack emergency supplies for use in the event of a disaster. Big or small, if something happens in your area like flooding, winter storms, or blackouts, roadways and grocery stores may be inaccessible. ATMs and cell towers may be non-operational. So in the end, preparing for an emergency starts with each and every one of us here. On this slide, we have 12 ways you can prepare at home. All are equally important. Our favorite is, of course, to make a plan. A few other ways you can participate. First is spread awareness. Do your research. Share information on preparedness with your friends, family, and community to help spread the awareness. It's important to have these conversations, especially with our children and the elderlies. Let's remember, preparedness has no age limit. Next, again, develop an emergency plan. Having a plan in place helps families prepare for and respond to unexpected circumstances. Lastly, join the cause. From May 15th to the 21st, in observance of this campaign, the Building and Safety Division will be providing informational packets, tools, and supplies at the front counter in a continuing effort to raise awareness. With that said, I, along with my colleagues, are inviting you to stop by and say hi. Join us in commemorating this event on the 3rd week of May. To close, staff distributed informational packets to the council members. And again, I'd like to thank the mayor, city council, management, staff, and the members of our community for having me here today and giving me the opportunity to share this important message. Thank you.
Thank you, RV. Well done. Council, anybody have any comments? Okay, so now we're going to move on to item C, which is the City of Paris Employee of the Quarter recognition for the first quarter of 2023. This will be introduced by our Director of Administrative Services, Saida Amoskar.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council. This item will be presented by our Assistant Director of Community Services, Mr. Arsenio Ramirez. Thank you.
Fans. That's right. Good evening, Mayor, members of the council, and city staff. I'm excited to be presenting to you the employee of the quarter, Mr. Paul Dagatan. Paul started with the city of Paris as a part-time employee in 2017. He was entrusted to help run the city's recreation youth sports leagues and assist during the many city-sponsored community events. His efforts and commitment were quickly noticed because after only a few years, he earned a full-time position where he was asked to take on additional responsibilities. Through hard work, Paul earned the trust and respect of his colleagues and supervisors. In 2020, during the chaos of the pandemic, Paul was presented the opportunity to assist the Parks Division in an administrative capacity. To no one's surprise, Paul excelled, and we quickly knew he was the perfect person for the admin tech position. Paul went through the process of applying and interviewing for the role, and in 2022, Paul officially transitioned his talents to the Parks Division. Outside of work, Paul considers himself a foodie. It's been shared that Paul is willing to drive many miles just to try a new dish. We're all a little jealous of him because as much as he eats, he does not gain a pound. He's a young man who enjoys playing ball with his work buddies, but his favorite activity is spending time with his niece and nephew. He also wanted me to share with you that he is known in Paris as the better-looking Dagatan brother. So when he comes up, you can be the judge of that. All kidding aside, Paul considers his older brother a positive role model and thanks him for always being there for him and guiding him. Paul is an exceptional employee, and we are proud to have him in our department. This recognition is well-deserved. Congratulations, Paul. Keep up the great work. He'll say a few words and then maybe a picture.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and esteemed members of the council. Thank you for the continued support and leadership that you offer our city. I would also like to thank all the city staff. It's always an honor and a pleasure working alongside great people and individuals that you can depend on. Lastly, thank you to my family and friends for always keeping me on track to do better and be better. Thank you.
Thank you. So I got to start off with, do you know how to make pork adobo? Very good. You're my friend. You're my friend. All right. Congratulations, Paul. Got a big certificate here for you.
Just a little dark in that corner.
This is a certificate of recognition presented to Paul Dagatan, employee of the first quarter 2023. May it be known that the mayor and the city council of the city of Paris hereby recognize Paul for his dedication and unwavering commitment to the city of Paris. Your efforts are commendable and greatly appreciated, and we do expect you to have pork adobo, sticky rice, and maybe some pancit. Very good.
Right there for me. Keep looking forward. Drop the chin for me if you can. Paul, drop the chin for me. Thank you. Awesome. Just a flare.
Gorgeous. Thank you so
You have any
much.
family here? Coming up. Brother, come on, brother. Dad, where's Dad? Come on, Dad. Oh, everybody. Good. Come on. Come on in, Dad.
the mayor.
Yes.
That's your dog?
Gorgeous. Okay, guys, are you ready? Everybody look up. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2. Gorgeous. Very nice. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2. Beautiful. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. So in addition to that, you got a MasterCard gift card, $100. That's for you to take the mayor out to dinner. Yes. And then in addition to that, Paul, you have earned the key to the city as well. So there's your key to the city. Congratulations. Okay, council, anybody have any comments? Alrighty.
Oh, are we done?
Councilman Corona, hold on, Paul, we've got some comments here for you.
Hey, Paul. I know you want to go out and celebrate, but just wanted to tell you how what a pleasure it's been seeing you in action, seeing you with the work with the kids in the community. I'm embarrassed to say that I never knew that you two were brothers. Both do amazing work, and it just is great to see you continue to help our community. Thank you.
Anybody else? All right, Paul, enjoy your evening. Thank you. Okay, item 7 is our Youth Advisory Committee communications. This report will be given by Jasmine Lomanelli, our Vice President.
Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council, and City staff. Good evening. Hello, my name is Jasmine Lomelli, and it is a pleasure for me to hold the position of Vice President for YAC. I'll be providing you with an update on the most recent and forthcoming YAC events. To start, YAC attended the Meeting of Minds Summit on Thursday, April 27th. It was undoubtedly a great opportunity for YAC as it provided them with valuable insights into the future job market in the Paris area. The event brought together some of the most innovative and forward-thinking minds in the industry, all of whom shared their unique perspectives what the job market will look like in the years to come. The insights gained from the Meeting of Minds were truly insightful and interesting. Furthermore, YAC recently volunteered at the Cinco de Mayo Festival this past Saturday. The festival was a huge success, with hundreds of people attending the event and enjoying the various performances, food, and activities that were offered. The YAC volunteers played an essential role in making this possible, and for their efforts were recognized and appreciated by everyone involved in the event. This upcoming Friday at Paragon Park, YAC will be attending and assisting with movies at the park. YAC will be distributing free popcorn amongst the community members. So grab your blankets and join us for a wholesome good time. On May 19th, Friday, YAC is gearing up to participate in the 8th annual Senior Prom, an event that brings together our seniors for a night of fun and celebration. YAC volunteers will play a crucial role in making the event success by assisting with various tasks such as plating food, serving food, escorting participants to their tables, and cleanup. Moving forward, YAC has recently announced our recruitment period is now open. Applications are available through the city's website. YAC is looking for teens between the ages of 11 and 17 who are interested in civic engagement and community involvement. Being a member of YAC is an excellent opportunity to develop leadership skills, learn about local government, and make connections with other youths who are also passionate about making a difference and a positive impact in the community. It is also a great way to meet new people and form connections with other youth who are passionate about making a difference. The application deadline is July 27th at 7 p.m., and applications must be turned in at the Statler Youth Center at 120 North Paris Boulevard. The selection process will take over the following weeks, and those chosen to serve on YAC will be notified via mail. If you or someone you know is interested in applying to be a part of the Youth Advisory Committee, visit the city's website to download an application. Finally, YAC would like to remind everyone to please follow us on social media at Paris YAC for more updates and upcoming events. For more important information on YAC or any events discussed today, feel free to dial the Statler Youth Center. YAC would like to remind everyone to remain safe and healthy. Thank you.
Thank you, Jasmine. Yes.
Just want to give special recognition for Jasmine Lomelli. She's a senior. She's been with YAC for a few years and a senior at Paris High School. And she's going to be, she has already accepted and will be attending UC Irvine in the fall. So congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, item 8 is our public comment, citizen participation. This is when any member of the public can speak on any item that is within our jurisdiction but not on the agenda. Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak?
Yes, sir. Adam Ivantov.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Council and staff. My name is Adam Evantov, Public Affairs Manager for SoCalGas, with a quick update on natural gas and SoCalGas stuff. Just want to let you know that gas prices are starting to return to normal. So if, let's say, you had a $300 bill in January, it should have dropped to $165 in February and about $100 in March, and it should be continuing to tumble. Just to remind you that SoCalGas charges you for bringing the pipes and the service to your home, but what goes in those pipes, that natural gas is set by the open market. It's supply, demand. Demand was crazy high during the winter, and so gas prices, the gas that went in those pipes, went up, up, up. Anyway, we, just to let you know, are delaying any collection of any collection activities. We've suspended any disconnects for the foreseeable future. We continue to inform residents and customers about various programs that SoCalGas offers. For more information about Level Pay Program, Medical Baseline, or any of the customer assistance programs, www.socalgas.com/assistance. You're supposed to say that 7 times, but I'm just going to say it again. www.socalgas.com/assistance to find out a variety of programs that are available. We also recently announced a $10 million grant program from shareholder funds to assist in a variety of ways, including $5 million gas assistance fund for helping with one-time utilities assistance through things like the United Way, Community Action Partnership, and that. We've also committed $4 million to Fueling Our Communities, which is a food program funding different grants for things like Feed America, or Salvation Army, and a variety of FSA and a variety of other programs. Also, a $1 million grant program to help restaurants out in our Restaurant Resilience Program. For more information about those programs, socalgas.com/newsroom. You should see a pattern here. But anyway, throughout all of this, we continue to remind folks, turn down the thermostat, turn down your temperature on your water heater. Don't use your fireplace or your jacuzzi quite yet until rates come down a little bit. For a deeper dive on any and all of this information, certainly city folks definitely know how to get in touch with me. I'm always available to give a presentation. Getting me to talk is easy. Getting me to shut up is more difficult. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Adam.
Maribel Núñez.
Looking at the time. Hello, everyone. Hello, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and City Council. Glad to be here today. Maribel Núñez with Inland Equity Community Land Trust and also part of the Inland Empire Tenants Union, and also here in partnership with TODEC. I wanted to bring up to your attention, I did approach a couple of the council members now that we have, with COVID and tenant protections being lifted, you know, we're getting a lot of calls from all over the Inland Empire, even in here in the city of Paris, in regards to just, you know, issues that more need to protect tenants. You know, a lot of us, you know, are one paycheck away from being evicted for not paying rent or what have you. If you listen to the Riverside County Board of Supervisors meeting today, you might have heard that in their report, in their count, 12% increase of Riverside County unhoused population. So the situation is going to get more worse. And so I wanted to see if the city of Paris, you guys have done a great job with doing COVID protections way beyond what the state or federal government is asking you to do for your residents, and to really look into what Pasadena is doing with some of the tenant protections with what they just got passed the Just Cause, which includes the Just Cause ordinance, rent stability, and a rent board. And so we will be able to share with you potentially, if you could bring it to the agenda, a sample ordinance of what that could look like. And, you know, we did have recently a call, and they live in the Guston Road, which is the unincorporated part of Paris, but their children, right, they go to Valverde School District, which resides here in Paris. They lived in a house. There were 2 units behind a backyard of a homeowner. And with a new owner, that person has his name, the couple is called Isabel and Santiago. They lived there since 1990. But with the new the current homeowner passed away, and there was a new homeowner that took over, and just within a month notice, give a notice to evict. And so really not knowing their rights. So then we did get the call to try to help them and making sure that they know their rights and they let the property owner. So stories like this are going to come up where there's no protection. So we ask if, with the different ordinances that you could have for renters, you could really give more legal authority for these tenants to fight their evictions. If the landlord evicts, just to raise, sometimes they use the example of moving someone because of renovation. And a lot of it is to raise the rent, for example, right? So we got to do more than what the state is doing with Costa-Hawkins. And so you do have the power to do more for your residents, and definitely take a look at what Pasadena has done. And so we hope that we can work together. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Maribel. I have a staff member at the back there. Can you give him your information, and we can set up a meeting in my office? Antonio? Anybody else, Madam Clerk?
I'm sorry, that is all.
Anybody in the room at this time wishing to speak on any item not on the agenda? All right, going to move on to item 9, which is approval of minutes. We had a request to pull separate vote, though, on that. We have actual 2 different meetings here. So I'm going to first consider approval for the April 14, 2023. That was a joint work session held on April 14, 2023. I have a motion by Councilwoman Navas, Mayor Pro Tem Navas, second by Councilwoman Rogers. Please call a vote.
Rogers, Nava, Corona, yes. Rab, abstain.
Thank you. And the second portion is for the regular joint meeting, which was held on April 25th, 2023. I have a motion by Councilwoman Rogers, second by Councilman Rab. Please call a vote.
Five oh, motion approved.
Thank you. Item 10 is consent calendar. Consent calendar items are normally enacted in one motion. The mayor or city council may remove a consent calendar item for a separate action. We will have public comment, which will be limited to 3 minutes. Council, may have anything they want to pull for a separate discussion or vote?
Yes, I'd like to pull 10F as in Frank, just for separate comments.
Okay. Anybody else? All right, I'm looking for a motion for 10A through 10E.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
before we proceed.
I know.
Public comment.
I was just gonna go there. Madam, do we have any requests to speak on this item?
No, sir.
Anybody in the audience wishing to speak on this item? Very good. All right, we have a motion from Councilwoman Rogers for items 10A through E, second by Councilman Rab. Please call a vote.
5-0, motion approved.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem, item F.
Yes, for item F, we continue to receive our invoices that say general engineering services, but we don't have any clarification, although we followed up via email and we have some clarification now. Moving forward, if we could revisit that and be more transparent as to what the service is being offered, just instead of having a general engineering services for the month. And those are my comments. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else have any comments on this? Madam Clerk, do we happen to have anybody that wishes to speak on 10F?
No, sir.
Okay. Councilwoman Rogers, do you have a comment?
Yes, that was a definite concern, particularly for the Ways and Means Committee meeting, because we have voiced that concern. But I certainly appreciate all the time that Matt took to research and put together page after page after page of invoices so that we can see where all those expenses went. And I know for February, the one invoice had what the items were. So it said the Skills Center, Placentia Interchange. That gave us some idea. So it doesn't have to be as detailed as the 20-some pages that you sent us. Just what projects it went to would be very helpful for each line item. But thank you for researching that and getting us all that information.
Thank you, and thank you to the committee as well for picking those items out. All right, if there's nothing else, I did ask for a public comment, right? Okay, now I forgot myself. Okay, I need a motion. I have Mayor Pro Tem Nava and second by Councilman Rab. Good?
Robert, are you okay?
Call the vote, please.
5-0, motion approved.
Thank you. Okay, item 11 is our public hearings. 11A is consideration to adopt proposed resolution number next in order approving a final community development block grant, also known as our CDBG, annual action plan for fiscal year 2023 to 2024. And this will be introduced by our principal management analyst, Dr. Sarah Cortez de Pavon. You have staff correct that next time, Doctor.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council, and city staff. The item before you is for the final approval and adoption of the 2023-2024 Annual Action Plan. So a bit of background and some timeline. On February 27th of this year, HUD released their 2023 allocations. On April 7th of this year, the city published a 30-day public hearing and comment period for its final recommendations. On April 11th, the preliminary recommendations were approved by the City Council. Therefore, the comment period has been fulfilled and the action plan is ready for adoption by the City Council. These allocations before you have not changed from the ones previously approved by City Council on April 11th. Our total allocation is $889,107. Staff's recommendation is for City Council to open the public hearing and take all public comments for this item and to adopt the 2023-2024 Annual Action Plan with the proposed final CDBG allocations and direct staff to take all necessary action to implement the plan in accordance with HUD requirements. This concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Doctor. Councilman, do you have any quick questions for clarifications before I open up the public hearing? All right, at this time, I'm going to open up the public hearing at 7:16 PM. Madam Clerk, do you have any requests to speak?
No, sir.
Anybody in the audience wishing to speak on this particular item? Okay, hearing or seeing none, we're going to close public comment at 7:16. And at this time, I'll call for a motion on the resolution. I have a motion by Councilwoman Rogers, second by Councilman Rab. Please call a roll call or a vote.
5-0, motion approved.
Thank you. 11B is consideration to adopt proposed resolution number next in order, approving tentative partial map 22-05028, TPM-38385, and development plan review 20-00021, a proposal to facilitate the construction of a 254,511 square foot industrial warehouse building on 12.59 acre site. This is going to be introduced by our Director of Development Services, Mr. Kenneth Fung.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the council. This item will be presented by our contract planner, Chantel Powers.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and council members. The item before you is specific plan amendment 22-05053. This is required to move and remove a planned unimproved street known as lots B, C, and D from the Paris Valley Commerce Center specific plan circulation map. This also includes a tentative parcel map 22-05028, which is required to merge 6 existing parcels into 1 parcel, and development plan review 20-00021, required for site plan and building elevation review of the 254,511 square foot non-refrigerated industrial warehouse. As you can see, the project is located on the east side of Redlands Avenue, approximately in between East Ryder Street and Placentia Avenue, and located within the light industrial zone of the Paris Valley specific plan. It's also located in Zone B2 of the MARB Airport Land Use Map, and the project has already received conditional approval from ALUC. Just a little bit about the site plan and floor plan areas. We've got some outdoor employee amenities, one at the northeast portion of the site, one approximately the northwest portion of the site, and then indoor amenities also near the northeast portion of the site. Additionally, truck access will be from the south, so entrance to the site will be left in only, and then the trucks will circulate around through the truck court and exit out right only onto Redlands Avenue. Passenger vehicles have right-in, right-out access to the central parking area from the front of the parcel. You can see that the truck routes establish that left-in only. So if trucks are coming from Harley Knox Boulevard, they will move south on Redlands Avenue and then left into that southern driveway. And then if they're coming from, Placentia Avenue, they will move north on Indian Avenue, then east on Morgan, and then south on Redlands into that southern driveway. Additionally, you'll see that the driveways have been constructed, have been reverse engineered so that it would actually make it very difficult for trucks to enter this southern driveway, or actually either driveway moving north along Redlands Avenue. So essentially, the trucks will have to come south along Redlands Avenue to enter. We've got our landscape plan here, and one point of clarification, we originally had African sumacs proposed as part of the landscaping, but upon Planning Commission request, those have been replaced with Drake elms. Otherwise, the rest are the same. Apparently, it was stated that they were a little too messy, so. As you can see, a little touchy here. The renderings show that the building has plenty of articulation, and also at the Planning Commission request, some of the accent colors were changed to be a little bit more similar to other industrial projects in the area. So you have mostly white with some various gray textures and colors throughout. Comment letters received during the MND comment period came from South Coast AQMD, California Department of Fish and Wildlife, Blum Collins and Ho LLP on behalf of GSEJA, CCAEJ, and the Riverside County Traffic Commission. Responses to these comments were prepared and included in the final MND, and none of the comments or responses constituted new or significant information that would result in the recirculation of the MND. That concludes my presentation, and staff's recommendation is that the council adopt the resolution adopting mitigated negative declaration 2358 and the mitigated monitoring and reporting program that goes with that, and as well as approving tentative parcel map 22-05028 and development plan review 20-00021, and introduce the first reading of the ordinance approving the specific plan amendment 22-05053. I can take any questions that you have, and I believe our applicants are here and can answer questions as well.
Thank you, Chantel, for your presentation. I'm sure there's going to be plenty comments or questions from council, so I am going to open the public hearing first to see if we have any members of our community that wish to speak on this item. Madam Clerk, do we have any?
No, sir.
Is there anybody in the audience at this time wishing to speak? Okay, so I'm going to let the applicant come in and speak. I have to keep them on while it's open still, right? I can't close it and call them up.
Mr. Mayor, I think the recommended way to do it would be to let the applicant do their presentation.
Then close.
And then allowing members of the public, and then allowing the applicant to make any rebuttal, and then close, and then we can get
That's
into.
the way I was headed. Very good. I did call an applicant.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. My name is Christine Saunders. I'm here tonight for Lake Creek Industrial, and our applicant team is here in the room with our traffic engineer, CEQA consultant, and myself. And so I'd like to thank staff for all of the work that has gone into this project. We've been working on it for a few years now, so this was one of our first COVID projects, I think, that we had going into that process. So we're happy to be here tonight, and I think that we've been able to address all of staff concerns and the Planning Commission's concerns, and we'd be happy to, to move forward with the project and address any concerns or questions that you might have tonight.
Thank you. Just for that record, Madam Clerk, can you note that we opened the public hearing at 7:25? Council, you guys have any questions on that with that? Councilman Rabb?
Yes, I had a question regarding the left-hand turn from Redlands into the project. In terms of Redlands, will there be like a turnout for the trucks, or will they have to stop in the middle of Redlands?
There is a left turn pocket that would allow the trucks to go into the left turn pocket to make the left turn into the driveway on the south.
Who's controlling the slideshow? Can we go back to the truck route map?
I don't know, you want me to do it? Okay. There we go. Let me go to the site plan. Yeah, so you can see here is the, I don't know if here's the median.
Okay.
With the left turn pocket. Right here.
Then my other question would be about RCTC and the Mid-County Parkway. I know they've shelved that project, but in terms of this proposed project and the current alignment of the Mid-County Parkway, how do they intersect, if they do intersect?
I can answer that. Good evening. So the Mid-County Parkway, the ultimate Mid-County Parkway, not the interim because that's been rejected, is, this building is particularly in the way of the Mid-County Parkway.
Okay. And since RCTC gave us that letter, have we heard anything else from the county regarding this particular project?
Well, let me answer that, because I sit on RCTC.
Okay.
That project is dead in the water.
It's like 100% dead, or is it?
Well, it's not, the city did not, the council did not agree with with the interim
Their
plan,
interim,
therefore
yes.
we stopped the funding for that project, we moved on to another project. That's not to say that it won't come back 20 years from now, but for right now, it's not funded, they're moving on with other portions of the project.
Okay. But they haven't objected to this in terms of, hey, guys, we're not doing it now, but maybe 10, 15 years from now, we need this area?
It's open, it's back on us now. You can continue.
That is correct. They have not objected. The response from RCTC is that there is no project on their books. They are in no position to acquire any of these properties right now because of the funding and the cost of the industrial land. So therefore, they have not, that's what we've been told. They are not planning to acquire the property, and therefore, it's on the city's purview to just process this project as any other normal land use.
Okay, and then another question regarding the paper street. Do we have any information as to when that street was developed? Was it developed prior to this land getting zoned industrial, or was it developed after the land getting zoned industrial, or light industrial?
It must have been I don't have the data, but it's a really old tract, but this area has been zoned light industrial dating back to at least early 2000.
Okay. Well, my concern or question, well, thank you for answering that, would be light industrial in the early 2000s was different than light industrial in 2020. I believe light industrial at that time was more of the business office park industrial instead of these mega warehouses.
From what I do know is that at the time the specific plan was approved back in around 2012, I think the paper street with the light industrial has been in existence since then. I don't know beyond that.
Okay, thank you.
All right, before we continue going on, I want to close the public hearing. Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak after?
No, sir.
Anybody else still wishing to speak on this item?
Mr. Mayor, just to clarify, you have to leave the public hearing open to take in public comment.
Keep it open?
Yes, to take in public comment.
Okay, that's what your suggestion is.
Well, I guess at this point, is the applicant done with their presentation?
Yes.
Okay.
She was done, that's why I
Yes.
was going to close.
Okay.
But we can stay open.
But you would take the public comment, and then if given that there's no public comment, then you would close before you deliberate.
Right.
Okay.
And I just asked for that, and there is no more comments. So now I'm going to close, and then we continue deliberation, right? Okay. So we will close the hearing at 7:30. And we will continue on with discussion. Nobody's in the queue. Councilman Corona?
Thank you, Mayor. I do want to make it clear that my questioning has no impact on my decision-making, but it is in regards to the Mid-County Parkway. Just kind of follow what Council Rab had kind of brought up. Do we have an overlay of where this project is compared to the ultimate Mid-County Parkway?
Yes, we do, and I'll ask the planning manager to switch the slide over to it. So the red is the interim that RCT proposed, and then the blue is the ultimate Mid-County Parkway that the county council recommended.
The interim is no longer on the table, just so that you know.
Okay. Yeah, and then I think the interim would have been backed up to that anyway. So, so essentially, I mean, it's not the applicant's fault. They're doing it whatever is in their right to do, and but essentially, this would kill the entire project 20 years down the line. Right? I mean, that's a question.
They would have to acquire it if they wanted to do the
Yeah,
ultimate.
but that time would be 200 times more than what the value is now.
It could be.
Right? I could somewhere. I don't know where, but a lot more. Okay. Now, just keep in mind, I do want to clarify. My questions have no bearing on my decision making on that. How far are the houses from the nearest property line?
To the south in Placentia is about 600 feet, and then west
I'm
of,
talking about perpendicular to the homes.
perpendicular to the west, about 600 feet, to both 600 feet.
Okay, but like a perpendicular line, like we can't corner to the.
Yes, it's from the
This is
closest.
diagonal, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like-
from the closest property line, we kind of estimated. Yes.
600 feet. Did you travel directly left
Yes, I did.
or west? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so it might be a little less than 600 feet if you went perpendicular to it.
That's the closest point, is 600
Okay,
feet.
gotcha. Okay. Okay, and then all the traffic's gonna go up following that path. No traffic, like so they designed it where they cannot possibly go south for truck traffic.
Yes, they would run over curbs and medians if they were to try to go on Placentia. So the truck traffic will come south on Redlands and enter in the site. Based on the site plan, we can bring that back up, but it's configured that
Right,
way so that.
right. Okay. And then
prohibit them.
Okay. Also, it's configured that where you have to go in and out. Okay. And then all the trucks are going to be as far away from the homes as possible.
That's correct.
And then what kind of development is planned for the east side of this project?
There's a proposed industrial that's in the pipeline.
Okay. But nothing's been approved yet?
No,
They haven't gone to.
not yet.
Okay, and then since they are taking a paper street, besides the normal contributions that all the developers do, are there any other community benefits that are being added to this project?
Not beyond the typical, because it's not a land use change. It's just a paper street.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Mayor. I had a question for the applicant. The traffic study mentioned that there was over 1,000 daily trips that would be added due to the project. Does that include any truck traffic, or is that strictly vehicle traffic?
Our traffic engineer is here tonight, but I'm going to take my first crack at it. That's generally a passenger car equivalent, so that would include trucks.
Okay. Okay. And so that's over 1,000 daily trips, and that's correct, right? That figure hasn't changed besides the study that was provided?
No, nothing's changed since then.
That's one question I have for now. Thank you.
Anybody else? Councilman Reb?
Yes, I saw the planning commission requested, one, a change out of the trees, but additional trees. What sort of trees are going to be developed on the southern side of the property? Because there's the houses, the street, then approximately 500 to 600 feet, and then the property line for the warehouse. Are there going to be fast-growing trees that kind of cover the warehouse? Or these going to be like these little rinky-dink trees that are, like at the Optimus project that was built, 7 years ago, and those trees are still pretty weak, actually.
They should be mature trees. We typically ask for 36 and 24-inch box trees. So I would ask the planner to kind of identify the particular tree, but they're typically more mature trees that we're planting nowadays.
So referring to those neon green trees on the south end.
box would cover everything.
One moment.
So just while she's loading that, I'd like to comment on what you're saying,
Those
Councilman
will
Rabb.
be, 36-inch Brisbane box trees along the southern property.
But I think here's one of the issues that Councilman Rabb is bringing up, and I live in the north area, in the new area up there, and all our trees have matured very quickly, and you look at some of these warehouses that have been there for a long time, and their trees are barely growing. So the question is not how big this box is how fast is it gonna mature to be a buffer between the residents or the streets and the warehouse? That's the question,
And
right?
if I can just interject, I think the trees I'm thinking about, if you go further down the warehouse on, I think it's Ryder and Paris, on the eastern side, if you know you're going on Ryder, and there's those like pine trees, they're really big now. They basically cover up that area, and that warehouse is what, about 15 years old?
Yeah.
I'm thinking like 15 years from now, 20 years from now, we want it to be like a Claremont, Meridian Parkway. I was in Rancho Cucamonga yesterday. We want that kind of tree coverage. We don't want these little rinky-dink, anemic trees that are going to be dead in like 2-3 years, kind of like what the county's putting in Mead Valley. It looks disgusting. I would give staff the great kudos for making the color scheme nice, because you see those warehouses they're putting in on the county, they look ugly. So I'm caught in traffic every morning, so I see it on the side of the road, so.
No, it's very noticeable compared to our industrial.
I just did a quick lookup, and Google says that a Brisbane box is a very fast-growing tree.
They're very full, too.
All right.
They would cover everything.
I don't see anybody else in the queue. You guys have any more comments, anybody? I have one quick one. I just want to confirm, this is, what APZ zone is this?
It's B2.
B2, which means no residential areas, no schools?
It would discourage that. It would be like a very low density if there's anything.
Got it. And it's been approved by ALUC, this
That's right.
project?
Yes.
Okay. All right, let's go back to staff's recommendation page. I guess that's your last. All right, so here's the recommendation. I'm looking for a motion and I have a motion by Councilwoman Rogers. Any seconds? I will second it. All right, please call roll call, or please call the vote.
Rogers, Vargas, yes. Rab, Nava, Corona, no.
Thank you. All right.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
If I may, at this point, because the motion to approve failed, the council has to do something with it, perhaps a motion to continue or motion to deny or something along those lines.
I would like the motion to deny the project.
And I will second.
I have a motion by Councilman Corona to deny this project, second by Council Mayor Pro Tem Nava. Please call the vote.
Nava, Corona, Vargas, yes. Rab, Rogers, no.
I'd like to make a motion to continue this matter so that staff can engage the applicant to develop a community benefit that would benefit the residents in the immediate vicinity of the warehouse.
You just voted this project down.
Correct.
That should have,
You voted for them to deny it.
I voted to deny. No, I was supposed to support this.
Then you wanted to say nay.
Sorry, can you go back?
I think we already voted.
But it's still passed to deny the project,
No,
3-2.
because you're one of the three.
Oh,
Yes, it has to deny.
Just to
it's still
clarify.
passed to deny.
No, just to clarify.
No,
did vote
it was
tonight.
4-1 vote. I need to change mine, it would be 3-2. It still passes.
Madam Clerk, what was the,
Oh.
it was 3-2?
Yes.
So what was the vote split again? To pass the motion to deny.
Right, it was Vargas, it was Rogers.
No. It was Corona, Nava, and Vargas.
Okay. So the motion, so the motion was to deny, and we have that vote. Mr. Mayor, did you want to
My
clarify?
original vote was to support the project, so therefore I should have said,
You should have said nay.
I should have said nay on
You
the
should
second
said
vote.
no to the motion to deny.
Right.
Okay, so that would be a 2-3 on the motion to deny. So now it's back to the council in terms of
Another
what the
motion.
next action or another motion that the council would like to do.
So the second vote was 2-3, 3 saying,
So
That motion failed.
So that motion failed as well because it was a motion to deny the project. It was 2 in favor of the denial and 3, as after Mayor Vargas clarified his vote, it's 3 against the motion to deny.
so what Councilman Rabb is doing now is appropriate.
So
Correct.
So for clarification, it was an accidental vote, is that what?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's on me.
Okay.
So now the recommendation by Councilman Rabb is accurate. He wants to send it back, bring it back?
Yes, I think since we are removing a paper street, this project does have its benefits, but however, we are removing a paper street. I think we should work to mitigate some of the concerns of the residents in the vicinity, particularly a community benefit agreement, maybe to spruce up Paragon Park, maybe to provide some landscaping along Placentia, maybe a walk path, something along those lines. So I think we just need a little bit extra to remove a paper street. The land's already zoned industrial, so they have that, but I think there just needs to be something extra since we are removing a street. So I would make a motion. I would make a motion to continue this matter. We can pick a date, or we can just continue to a date uncertain, so the developer could work with staff to develop a community benefit agreement that benefits the residents in the vicinity, and then we can bring it back.
So, Councilmember Rabb, just to clarify, is your motion to continue it to a date uncertain or to a date that's certain?
You got to give him time, so you can't specify a date. Why don't you just, yeah.
Okay, date uncertain.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilman Rabb, second by Councilwoman Rogers. Please call the vote. Did you need to clarify the motion, Robert? Mr. Koo?
Just to clarify the motion, for the benefit of the council and the public, it's a motion to continue this project to a date uncertain, and it's moved by Councilmember Rabb and seconded by Councilmember Rogers.
Very good. Call the vote, please.
Rabb, Rogers, Vargas, yes. Nava, Corona, no.
Okay, thank you. We got it down right now. Okay, item 12. Under business items. 12A is consideration to adopt a water rate study by Stetson Engineering for the downtown and north water system, approve the proposed water rates, and provide direction to staff on water rates. This will be introduced by our Deputy City Attorney, Mr. Ernie Reyna.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. So just want to quickly introduce this item. In a moment, I'm going to introduce our consultant who will come up and talk about the study itself. And as a background to this item, and included with your staff report, was the Stetson Engineering report that Mr. Chen will review, as well as a draft of the Proposition 218 notice that will be going out to our residents. But this was brought about because of where our situation is with the finances of the water system. The water system currently has about 4,100 customers customers that has not had a rate increase in well over 10 years. And so reviewing the finances, we know that this system is somewhat upside down, and we know that we've been losing money on this, and the general fund has been subsidizing these accounts. And so what we want to do is take a look at what Mr. Chen has provided. We're going to go over that, and then once he's done, what I'm going to do is come back and review a timeline with you that we'd like to proceed and go forward with, and then we'll show you what the requested item will be going from there. And so we'll emphasize what we're looking to do. So at this point now, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Chen here, who is from Stetson Engineering. This is Stan Chen, so I'm going to let him take it away from here.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, and City staff. My name is Stan Chen. I'm with Stetson Engineers. We're a civil engineering firm. We've had a long relationship, a working relationship with the City of Paris. We've provided support in the past for rate study in the past, and have prepared water system valuations, water rights valuations, and we've prepared many water resources studies for the city. The city requested that we assist in the preparation of a water rates study for support in adopting new water rates, as Ernie mentioned. The purpose of the report was to review the additional revenues that are required for this, by the City of Paris to offset ongoing annual deficits resulting from operations, maintenance, and capital improvement expenses. Later on in the slides, you'll see that the existing deficits are average about $770,000 a year and are projected to increase to more than $2.1 million per year over the next 5 years. Stetson and the city prepared this engineer's report in March of 2023 to identify the water rates increases that are required to break even over the next 5 years. And the engineer's report was prepared in compliance with Proposition 218. There's a process which is reflected in the California Constitution to ensure that the water rates and fees that are proposed by the city are reasonable and proportional to the cost of providing service, and the preparation of this report included city legal counsel review. This next slide shows there is a map of the 2 water systems that the city provides water service to. There's a total of about, well, the first water system is the downtown water system, which is in the center of the city of Paris, and the other water system is the North Paris water system to the northeast. The downtown water system serves approximately 2,666 customers, and the North Paris water system serves about 1,458 customers. The table on the lower right shows the breakdown of the customers. Most of the customers are on a 3/4 meter, and that's predominantly the case in the North Paris water system. Oops. The downtown water system receives all of its domestic water supply from water purchased from Eastern Municipal Water District, and over the past 5 years, the downtown water system has sold around 1,500 to 1,700, an average about 1,600 acre-feet per year to its 2,666 customers. And the North Paris water system produces domestic water supply from 4 groundwater wells, but can also purchase water from Eastern through an emergency service connection. And over the past 5 years, the North Paris water system has sold about between 600 and 675 acre-feet per year to its 1,458 customers. And the total for the two is average is about 2,250 acre-feet per year. This slide is a graph just showing the historical water demands for both systems and the total at the top. And you can see that the trend has been relatively flat. and is also projected to remain relatively flat, and that's just a testament to, water conservation, during the prolonged drought. I mean, the city provided Stetson with historical expense and revenue data that we analyzed, and 5 years of historical data were reviewed, and average annual expenses and revenues were determined. The city's water system expenses primarily include administrative, water purchases, contract services, professional services, legal services, interest payments, and depreciation costs. In addition to those separately, the city's revenues are primarily based on two charges. One is a monthly service charge, which is based on the size of the meter at the customer's property. And from the previous slide, the sizes range from 3/4 inch to much higher, like maybe a 6-inch line. The current costs for a 3/4 inch meter is approximately $12.92 a month, and it goes up for 1.5 inch meter. It's approximately $40.33 per month. And then separately, there's a water consumption charge, which is calculated based on the actual water usage by each customer and multiplied by the unit cost of water. In the case for the city, the unit cost of water is based off of 100 cubic feet, which is about 750 gallons. For the downtown water system, the current rate is about $2.70 per 100 cubic feet. And for the North Paris water system, it's about $2.50 per 100 cubic feet. This table shows the city's historical expenses and revenues over the past 5 fiscal years, from July to June. For the downtown water system, on the right-hand side, the difference between the expenses and revenues, the average deficit is approximately $611,000 per year. For the North Paris water system, the deficit is approximately $159,000 a year, and there's a total of about $770,000 deficit per year on average. This graph just shows the trend lines based off of the historical expenses, and then the next graph is the historical revenues, and both, I'm flipping back and forth, but both of these are pretty flat, but the expenses exceed the revenues, which is the reason for the ongoing deficit. And although the deficit has been relatively the same over the past 5 years, the deficit is expected to increase over the next 5 years. The first reason is that based off of a 2022 condition assessment report that was prepared for the city in July of last year, this assessment report indicated that, or it reviewed the city's water distribution system facilities and indicated that rehabilitation and capital repairs of various components of the city's water systems are needed, including the rehabilitation of multiple water storage tanks, pipeline repairs and replacements, and groundwater well rehabilitations, all for the increased water supply reliability. There's many water distribution system facilities with corrosion issues, repair needs. Many are in poor condition. Pipelines are leaking and are older, outdated. Some of the reservoirs also need roof replacements. And the cost estimates for these recommended capital improvements total approximately $5.8 million. For the downtown system, it's about 3.2, and for the North Paris water system, it's about 2.6 million, for a total of 5.8. And these costs will need to be added to future projected annual expenses. In addition to the expenses needed for the capital improvements, the city's other existing projected expenses associated with the downtown water system and the North Paris water system are anticipated to increase at a rate similar to the inflation rate. A 5-year average annual inflation rate from calendar years 2018 through 2022 averaged about 3.6%, and that was applied to projected expenses. The current, for the year 2023, the current inflation rate right now has been about 5 to 6%, but a long-term average of 3.6% was applied moving forward. And then in addition to that, from the previous slide, the city's projected capital improvements of $5.8 million were spread out evenly over a 15-year period, which is approximately $387,000 per year beginning in fiscal year 2023-2024. And without a rate increase, the city's annual deficit is projected to increase to over $2.1 million per year. And you'll be able to see that in the next slide. The projected deficit in the downtown water system by the end of the next 5 years is approximately $1.8 million. In the North Paris water system, it's approximately $360,000, and then the total combined is, by the end of 5 years, is more than $2.1 million per year. And that includes all of the expenses that are rising due to inflation, as well as the capital improvements. So the city requires additional revenue would require additional revenue to offset this ongoing annual deficit resulting from these operational expenses. If the city's water consumption rates and monthly service charges are increased at a rate of 10% per year over the next 5 years from fiscal year 2023, 2024 through fiscal year 2027, 28, the projected deficits will gradually be reduced and will result in a break-even scenario for the city by the 5th year. And this table has the same expenses and capital improvements as the previous table. However, the revenues incorporate the 10% annual increase. And by the end of the 5th year, at the lower right-hand corner, the surplus, the deficit would be removed by the end of the 5th year with this proposed annual increase. This slide presents the potential water rates as a result of the proposed 10% annual increase in both the monthly service charge and the consumption charge over the next 5 years. It depicts a monthly water bill based off of 20 HCF or 20 HCF, an HCF is 100 cubic feet. Again, that's about 700. Each 100 cubic feet is approximately 750 gallons. 20 HCF is like roughly the average water residential customer usage per month. Over the course of a year, that's approximately a little bit more than half an acre foot per year for each customer. The current rate is about $72, or the current bill is about $72 in the downtown water system, and in the North Paris water system, it's approximately $63. By the end of the 5th year, with the proposed 10% annual increase, it'll increase in the downtown water system to about $116 per month, and for the North Paris, it'll be about $101 per month. As part of the rate study, we also reviewed existing water rates and projected water rates from nearby local agencies, including Western Municipal Water District and Elsinore Valley Municipal Water District. The existing monthly service charges are provided in the first few rows, and then the consumption charges are provided afterwards. And below, there is a line item that's bolded that says a monthly bill estimate based on 20 HCF. There's the existing $72 for the downtown water system and the $63 per month for the North Paris water system based on that 20 HCF usage. And the equivalent usage for other local agencies. Currently, Eastern Municipal Water District would charge approximately $85 per month. Western would charge $104, and Elsinore Valley would charge charges about $96, and those rates increase as well. And some of the information is currently not available for those water agencies out in the future, but they're expected to increase as well. And in summary, the city has been operating with average annual deficits over the past 5 years. The downtown water system average is approximately $611,000. The North Paris water system is about $160,000, and the combined average annual deficit is about $770,000 per year. The city requires additional revenue to offset the ongoing projected annual deficit resulting from its operational expenses, including the projected operational and capital improvement expenses. And if the city's water consumption rates and monthly service charges are increased at a rate of 10% per year over the next 5 years, the projected deficits will gradually be reduced and will result in a break-even scenario for the city by the end of the 5th year. And that concludes my presentation, and I'll hand it back over to Ernie.
Thank you. So just as a sum up really quick, so with respect to the study and what it means, we know that as we currently stand now, we're losing about $770,000 per year. With inflation, with rising costs, we know by that 5th year, if we do absolutely nothing, those losses will amount to up to $2 million. So we're going to see a range start to go up. This year it could be more than $800,000. By that 5th year, we're in the $2 million range. So we know we have to do something. So we enacted and enlisted Stetson Engineer to do this independent report. And what it basically came out with is that in order to break even, it's going to take us 5 years. And that 5th year, raising rates at 10% per year for 5 years, we'll see a break even in that 5th year. But it will take that to get us there. And what this timeline is, and I apologize for the size, I know it's hard to see, it just shows you a timeline of where we've been, where we're going at now, and where we can get to make this work. And I'm going to, next step will be to actually have you look at the requested action. And if we move forward with this, the next step would be at the July 25th, we would have a public hearing where we would adopt the study, the rates, open up that public hearing and move forward. And then what it would require is after that, it would have a second reading on consent, so that 30 days later on October 1st, we can enact the new rates if the council so chooses to do so. And at this point, the requested action is to adopt the water rate study provided by Mr. Chen and Stetson Engineering, approve the proposed water rates as indicated at 10% per year for the next 5 years, and then direct staff to send customers the proposed 218 notice that was included with your and staff reports and everything along there. And we would have staff would have until June 10th to get those notices out. It's in both English and Spanish, along with the table, and that would be the 45-day required notice that we would need to get out before July 25th. And at this point, that concludes our report. So if you have any questions for myself or Mr. Chen, we'll be more than happy to take those questions for you.
Thank you both. Appreciate the presentation. I'm going to go ahead and call for any public comment before we get into deliberations. Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak on this matter?
No, sir.
Anybody in the audience wishing to speak on this? Okay. Close the public comment and Councilman Rabb.
Yes, regarding the expenses, moving forward from now until fiscal year 2027, the calculation, you mentioned inflation. What was that? Was that based on a 10% CPI increase, or was that based on the historical average CPI increase.
I believe it's historical average, but yes, it was historical average.
So it was I think there was a slide that said it was about 5% from 18 to 22?
Roughly, yeah. That's
Okay, and
right.
regarding the revenues for particularly the downtown system, the revenues are based on no more new construction coming into the downtown? Because I know there are some areas that can still get built out in downtown.
Right.
I know like there's a whole lot of houses south of 7th Street area. There's apartments that are approved off of Ellis. Are any of our industrial projects in the downtown water system? Because I know there's a lot of industrial coming in on that southern end of Paris.
Yeah, that's a good question. Do you know if that was anything included in there, industrial? Yeah, I think it was mostly residential from my recollection on that one.
Okay. This is one question I would have would be particularly the land off of Redlands, on the other side of Redlands, the land going down Getz, down Mapes.
Okay.
I know it's slated for a lot of industrial and people are asking for rezones and changes like that. Maybe if there's any way we can put it on the backs of them instead of our residents. I do know we do need to raise the rates, but it just seems a lot excessive because that $71 is not the actual bill when you factor in the sewer rates
Right.
and everything else. And now that CR&R is not on there, the base rate is $98. That's what the water and the sewer. So if there's a way maybe we can factor it onto the big cats, that the poor residents aren't having to pay those extra fees. But we do need to raise the rates. Just the 10% per year does seem a little excessive.
Councilman Corona?
Thank you, Mayor. If we could go back to the slide with the deficit per year, if we were to have the increase,
Let's see. Without the increase?
with the increase,
With the increase. Is that one here? I think it's that one here, yeah.
I think it is that one.
Yeah.
So question I have, between year one and year two, it increases and then decreases. Why does it increase for that one, for year two?
So the first, the column on the left, for fiscal year 2022, 2023, that hasn't incorporated any revenue increase yet. That's just the current year we're in right now. And there hasn't been any water rates increase right now. So the deficit,
If I may, if you look at the chart, it's mainly due to the capital improvement costs that we're starting to build in there. So that's why it jumps up, because it's not noted in the current 22-23 year.
Has all the capital improvements? Okay.
yeah, they begin, those expenses begin 23, 24.
Okay, thank you. And then if we can go to the, where we compare to the other water districts.
Right there.
Yeah, I think it's that one. So currently, I mean, it doesn't make sense to compare it to Western or Elsinore because, I mean, with the rest of the city, residents aren't part of those. But about 80% of the residents have Eastern Municipal, correct? Okay, and they're all, like even with all these increases, they're still gonna be paying more than the downtown and also the North Paris?
Even with, I'm sorry, so with these increases?
With these increases.
You mean the eastern customers? I mean, wanna understand the
Eastern
question.
compared to downtown and North Paris, yes.
I mean, I believe Easterns are still more, I mean, you did the study on that, so there's still gonna be more, I believe, because even after that, are you talking about the end of the fifth year?
They're
Yeah.
still gonna do
They're
it,
still gonna
okay.
be- And no, they're proposing some other increases.
Yeah, I
as
know,
well, so
I think we just got a letter
they're-
too recently.
Yeah, so I think it's, somewhere along the lines, but I think there's still gonna be more, so.
Yeah, so essentially the 80% are subsidizing the 20% currently, that's kind of what's
exactly
happening?
what's happening, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and, okay, and there's no telling how, now, the question I have is, why does North Paris pay less? I don't want to say significantly less, but they do pay less than downtown. Was there a reason for that?
There might be some consumption charges in there that the North may not have, and I think it was grandfathered in. So I know with the North, they had the HOA there, and they may not have some of the same costs. They did not allow for the increases to occur way back when. So there might have been an increase in the downtown where the North didn't have that because of the HOA. So I think it kept it a little bit higher than the North was, if that makes sense. So there was an increase that basically the North didn't have.
And the other reason is because we own the water up in the North Parish, so
Right.
the rates are a little lower than in the downtown, which we get through EMWD.
We bring that in, we're like a middleman on that part. Okay, I'll save my comments for later on. Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
If I may, I did want to clarify something that, a comment that Councilmember Rabb raised about the rates and having the rates being, I guess, put on the industrial developers more so than the residents. The complicated factor with Proposition 218 is that the cost of the water or the rates have to be reasonably related to the cost of what they're buying, basically. So we can't charge customers more than what they're paying for, basically. Just want to clarify that point.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Councilwoman Rogers?
My question is, I know it's been many, many years since we've had a rate increase. Can you tell me approximately how long ago that has been?
Yeah, so, I mean, the information that I have that I can go back and look and see, I know that we did a Prop 218 hearing back in 2013. And at that point, I don't believe it was accepted. So it's been longer than 10 years, and I can tell you that I don't know the exact year. We went back and we looked at a few items. I think there was something in 2008, 2009. So now we're talking 15 years at least that any kind of rate increases happened. And with, rising cost inflation, we've gone beyond that price limit, and, we're at capacity now. We're beyond capacity, and we need to be able to do something with these rates. So it's been quite a while.
Yeah, I know it had been quite a few years since we've done a rate increase. And by doing the rate increase, it'll make it more equitable across the whole city.
Yeah, and it's-
With the majority of residents already paying the higher Eastern rate, and Eastern getting ready to raise it again.
Yeah. So it's about parity and making sure that everyone pays the same amount that's equal enough to where the general fund's not subsidizing as well, so.
And it's almost unheard of something not being raised in 10 to 15 years.
That's
So
correct.
I think we have been very, very cognizant and keeping the levels as low as possible. But everything is increasing, the gas, the water, the electricity. So
I agree.
we can't operate at a deficit. We've got to be more prudent than that. Thank you.
Yeah, we've been carrying a deficit for a long time. All right.
And it's only growing, so yeah.
Yeah. I don't see anybody else in the queue, so I can,
Go ahead.
Councilman Corona?
Yeah, just want to give my comments, or just a quick question. Throughout the years, do we have a number, how much we've lost throughout the years that we've been all
Yeah.
together?
Yeah, and it's right now it's in the $3 to $4 million range because we've been slowly increasing that amount. Right now, last year was 750. This year we're projected 860. So it's in that. It's probably closer to 4 million. So it's been accumulating, and it's only going to get worse. We know in 5 years it'll be another 2 million, but you got that up throughout the years. If we wait another 5, it's going to be up there around $7, $8, $9 million. So yeah,
Right.
accumulated losses.
Yeah, and I think the last time that was even proposed was late 2000s.
Right.
It's a complicated issue because we as a council we're having to vote to raise the rates for the people who are voting us in, right? So it creates an issue, and pretty much almost everything it's a little bit different. So I can see a council. I'm not going to speak on past councils, but I could see any council kind of being a little more hesitant to raise the rates, where EMWD raised the rates no problem. I mean, they are essentially elected, but they have no problem doing it. And we shouldn't be running this as a deficit. I don't think it's fair to the rest of the residents that expect extra I guess activities and just different amenities for the rest of the city.
Yeah,
I do pay with the MWD. I pay my rates. I don't like to pay it, but I pay it just like everybody else does.
Yeah.
I don't think it's fair for my neighbors and the 80% of residents to also subsidize the rest of the 20%. I think the people that live in these areas, they're proud people. They want to. I don't think they want to be subsidized.
Of course.
I think they're willing to pay what they use.
Yeah.
So we're not asking them to pay more. We're asking them to pay what they use.
Yeah, and to your point, Councilman Corona, after the 5th year is where we're looking at. So it's going to take us quite a bit to catch up to
Right.
be where we need to be. And we try to make this so it was nice and even and going out as far as we can. So 5 years is a reasonable amount of time at 10% to get to that point. So it'll be a while before we break even. But
for the next 5 years, they're still going to be paying under EMWD.
right, even in that 5th year, we
Yeah.
finally catch up. And that's
So-
when it's like, okay,
right.
now we're even with the surrounding communities.
Right,
So-
because if we were to bring it up 50% essentially, I mean, at the same rate, it's not like they're going to be paying more. It's going to be a bigger increase to what they're normally used to.
Correct.
But it's still the same level as everywhere else.
Right,
So
right.
that's why I'm in support of doing this. I think a responsible council needs to make sure that we're not running
Certainly.
running our water company at a deficit, and
Right.
and that's all I'm going to say.
And we're not making up our numbers. We're
No,
also
no,
controlled-
we're not.
We're also
No.
controlled by the PUC on this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, right. And this is also why we engaged with Stetson Engineering to do an independent report to see where we're at. We allowed them to tell us, yeah, you're behind. In order to catch up, here's what you got to do, and here's how you can make it happen over a reasonable amount of time so that your general fund doesn't keep subsidizing the water funds itself.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, yes. Because we've been operating at a deficit, does that mean that these customers weren't getting the best capital improvements or improvements along the way, right?
Well, that's part of it, but mostly when we look at that, it's just the rates, because the only source of revenue are the rates, and so we compare that to the expenses, which could be, what the water we're purchasing, it could be part of the capital cost, so it's a possibility that that is the case, but we do budget for it in our CIP and have other places for that, but as Mr. Chen pointed out, there are some improvements that need to be made as well, so that's part of it as well, but, most of it is due to the rates.
Okay.
Yeah.
And due to that, perhaps lack of funding for that, is it now more costly because now we're being a lot more reactive, we're addressing these issues as they pop up versus having the budget allocated for that?
Correct. I mean, if you're paying when you need to and on time, then a lot of that can be, the cost can be curbed. So if you're waiting till the very end when they're falling apart, then, stuff like that can happen where you're going to pay more because now it's out of necessity. You have to do it quicker. But yeah, that's kind of where we're
Okay,
at.
so then we also expect that our residents will have better service and,
That's what we're aiming for, yes.
okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, if there's nobody else, can you go to the last page?
Should be
Well, I'll talk about this in my comments, but this is,
Is that what you wanted, Mr. Mayor, the requested
I
action?
got to switch, give me a second.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Okay, so there's the requested actions. I'm looking for a motion in a second. I have a motion by Councilwoman Rogers, second by Councilwoman Rogers, second by Councilman Corona. Please call a vote.
5-0, motion approved.
Thank you. All right, item 13, council communications. Councilwoman Rogers.
I was able to attend the first annual Cinco de Mayo festival that we had here on City Hall on Saturday with my grandson, and it was very well attended, and it was a great first start to be the first annual one. And staff did a great job putting it together. And I missed the salsa competition, but since I had a gringo stomach, I was staying away. But, and also, this month of May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And if you or someone in your family is struggling with mental health issues or depression or suicidal tendencies, please reach out to 211. They've got a number of people there that'll take your call and refer you to the right resources. And other than that, the only other thing I have to say is go Lakers.
Councilman Rab.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Vargas. Just want to echo some of the speakers that spoke earlier, Ms. Nunez, and I believe Mr. Green was also up there regarding the Just Cause ordinance. Had an opportunity to have a Zoom meeting with them yesterday regarding the Just Cause ordinance. They brought up very good points regarding engaging the city of Paris to see if a Just Cause ordinance is applicable for our situation. I do think with a lot of the rising rents, people coming out from the LA area, our city is improving. Rents are going up. A lot of long-term residents are being evicted without any cause. I talked to City Manager Miramontes about what particular committee would vet this issue, engage the community stakeholders to see if this is something we should move forward on. I believe she mentioned the Ways and Means Committee. I would be, if my colleagues are open to it, I'd suggest that the Ways and Means Committee engage Ms. Nunez, engage community organizations, to see if developing a Just Cause ordinance would be applicable to the city and how that would interact with the county courts, that they would know that within the area of Paris, our city would be a Just Cause jurisdiction. I think it is important that we move forward on that. I think the ability to secure an apartment and not be evicted with a 30 or 60-day notice is important for a lot of our long-term residents. Also balancing that with the factors of the mom and pops, the small elderly people that may own one house that rent it out, or individuals that may rent a room out. I do think if you are renting a room in a house, you may have a little bit more leeway in terms of maybe having access to that room. But I do think it is something that we should engage the community in. If one or more of my colleagues also agree with that, I would recommend that the Ways and Means Committee start formulating a potential ordinance on that matter. I also had the opportunity to attend the Rotary Honors Dinner this past Thursday with Councilman Corona and City Manager Miramontes. The city honored the Luera family, a long-term Paris family, the foundation. They provided a lot of toys and gifts to various the Christmas toy event and everything like that. So I had a very good, we had a very good conversation with the Luera family, long-term Paris residents, over 40 years, almost 50 years in the city of Paris. So it was a great event overall, seeing all the community stakeholders come together to honor people within our community. Didn't have an opportunity to attend the Cinco de Mayo event. It looked very good. I was getting ready for a family cookout, but I will definitely attend next year. And it looked like a well-attended event, and hopefully the food truck event also looked well-attended as well. So I want to congratulate city staff on that, and just want to congratulate everyone and wish everyone, all the mothers on the dais and all the future mothers, a happy Mother's Day.
Don't worry, I saved you some hot salsa. Councilman Corona.
Thank you, Mayor. I did also attend the Cinco de Mayo event. It was a wonderful event for being the first time. It looked like our staff has been doing it for years, which they've been doing many other events. It was just a great event, so colorful. The music was great, the food was great, everything about it. The Rotary Club. I did attend with Councilman Rabb, as he stated. It was a great event where we honored many people in the community. So congratulations to all the recipients of their awards. They were all in contributions of benefiting the entire community. So I mean, here as a city council, we try to do our best, but we really can't do it without the efforts of the entire community. Special congratulations to Michelle Ogawa for her award through the Chamber of Commerce and all she does on that. I do as well want to wish all the mothers a very happy Mother's Day, especially my wife and my own mother, and City Manager Clara Miramontes and Councilwoman Rogers, and soon to be Councilwoman Nava, or Mayor Pro Tem Nava, and of course our City Clerk Nancy Salazar. I do want to thank the Public Works for our small gifts that you gave us, and I do want to thank you for all the work that you've done in this above average rainy season. I've seen the Public Works just working their butts off, and it definitely doesn't go unnoticed. So thank you. I know though that because of all the rain, we got lots of weeds. So I'm sure Public Works is going to prove why they're so invaluable and do some amazing work with the weeds. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to start off by thanking our city staff for the meeting of the Mind Summit that we had here. It was a great discussion leading towards the Skill Center, and I'm really, really glad to see that this discussion was geared on the future of our workforce, and not only about having quality jobs, but jobs that pay a sustainable wage here in our very own city. So I'm really glad to have these proactive discussions and making sure that we're one step closer to the grand opening of our Skill Center, which I know will be a great benefit here for our residents and our local community. And I also had the opportunity to attend the very first annual Cinco de Mayo. It was an excellent event per usual. We've been really lucky with the weather here in Paris, so we're definitely enjoying the great weather and being a great company. I know I was hesitant about the turnout given that it's our first Cinco de Mayo event, but there was no questions there. Our city definitely knows how to put on a great event. And then I also had the opportunity to attend the SCAG Regional Conference, where we discuss important topics of the region, such as transportation, workforce development, and funding for housing production. And then last but not least, also want to wish all of the mothers a very happy Mother's Day out there. Those are all my comments for tonight. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We're nearing that time. I won't repeat items. So I'm going to give prompts to the Kindred Hospital. This is a long-term acute care facility we have here on Medical Center Drive. I think at one time many years ago that was an actual hospital. They recently held a coat drive, donated many coats for our homeless community. The distribution will be handled by our CityNet homeless outreach team. We had our employee recognition day at the bomb shelter. That was a real fun day for them. And again, like you said, the weather, we've been really lucky on these activities. I participated with the downtown Paris tour with our assembly member, Corey Jackson, Sabrina Cervantes, and speaker designate Robert Rivas, assistant city chief, our assistant city manager, Wendell Bugtai was there, Councilman Rabb, our manager Michelle Ogawa, Armando Panchi, Antonio Martinez. We were discussing workforce development, showcasing our downtown skills center, as well as housing, economic development, tourism, and the conversation including our Paris Depot museum, as well as the Railway Museum, and of course, again, like I said, focusing on our downtown skills center. They were pretty impressed. We followed up with a brunch that we had along with the assembly member. It was just a really good time to network and get some support for a lot of our projects that are going on here in Paris. And lastly, well, second to lastly, I attended the Paris Valley Filipino American 26th anniversary gala event for their new officers being inducted. If you like Filipino food like mine, you'll know why I'm there. And outside of that, as everybody's indicated, happy Mother's Day to my wife and everybody else in our city, as well as our staff members here in the city of Paris. And we'll move on to item 14, City Manager's Report. Oh, well, I was going to forget again. I've been doing this for the last 3 meetings. I need to make a request. I'm going to bring back on the agenda next month. I need to bring back discussion for the beautification committee so I can get this down right. I need to be able to allow for our appointments of our community members that basically you all have selected for your areas so we can make them official. Finally got that on. All right. 14, City Manager's Report.
Thank you, Mayor. On Saturday, May 20th, the City of Paris and the Love Your Neighborhood program is inviting residents to help beautify the city from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. and will be meeting at Patriot Park. City will provide gloves, bags, trash pickers, and safety vests. So you can watch for details at our social media sites. And secondly, the Community Services Department will be hosting the Movies in the Park. And this one will take place on Friday, May 12th at Paragon Park. The event is free, and the featured movie is Brave. There will be complimentary snacks, popcorn and cotton candy, and the movie will begin at dusk. And thank you for the Mother's Day wishes, and I wish a happy Mother's Day to all the mothers and soon-to-be mothers as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Senior prom. May 19th.
I'll defer that to Director Chavez.
Yes, the senior prom we have on Friday, May 19th. But good news, we've sold out.
Wow.
Yes.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yes, the seniors are very excited. The theme's going to be Arabian Nights. The dinner starts at 5, and the dance is from 6 to 9 p.m. at Bob Glass Gym.
Very good. Thank you.
So do we wear belly dancing?
Yes.
Yes. I have the belly.
All right, thank you, everybody. Item 15 is our adjournment. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. Go Dodgers.
Go Lakers.